Okay, so for the first 7, we're working with exponent rules, rational and like fractional exponents and then whole number exponents. When I have a problem like number 1 where I have to simplify 32 to the -2/5, for this problem, the first thing I want to do is turn this into a root, right? Remember that the 5, the denominator of our exponent, becomes the root that we're taking of 32. So we're taking the 5th root of 32 and then raising that value to the -2nd power. Well, the 5th root of 32 is 2, so we have 2 to the -2nd, but we don't like negative exponents here. So we are going to move that exponent down to the denominator and make it 2 squared, 1 over, which is 1 over 4. And that would be your final answer. Okay, the next one, same kind of thing, only we have a fraction. I'm going to turn this into the 4th root. All right, so I'll write it out the long way. This is the 4th root of 16 over 81, all raised to the -3rd. Now, we learned earlier this year that a square root can break up over the fraction. Well, the 4th root can as well. So you have the 4th root of 16 over the 4th root of 81, and you're going to take that value and raise it to the -3rd. The 4th root of 16 is 2, and the 4th root of 81 is 3. Same thing we did in the last problem. Now let's distribute this -3 exponent to the 2 and the 3. So I'll have 2 to the -3rd over 3. I don't know why there's a negative there. 2 to the -3rd over 3 to the -3rd. Because those are both negative exponents, we're going to flip the fraction to be 3 cubed over 2 cubed, and then simplify our answer, 27 over 8. All right, number 3. We're getting into exponent rules here. Deal with the numbers, the x's, and then the y's. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify, and you might have a different strategy for approaching this problem. That's fine. The way I do it might not be the way you do it, but as long as we get the right answer, that's okay. What we have here is 18 over 27. Well, first of all, actually, let's move all the negatives to start. So I'm going to leave that 18 over 27 for now. X to the -4th is going to go to the bottom to be positive, and x to the -8 is going to move to the top to be positive. The y squared is going to move to the bottom to be positive, and y to the 5th stays in the denominator. Now I can simplify a little more. 18 over 27, 9 goes into both of those, so that would be 2 over 3. X to the 8th over x to the 4th, well, I subtract 8 minus 4 and get a 4. So the 4 is positive, it would stay up on the numerator with x to the 8th, and notice that x to the 8th is bigger than x to the 4th, which is also why you're staying in the numerator. Y squared and y to the 5th, you add those together to be y to the 7th, and that would be your final answer. All right, what I would do in number 4, there's 2 ways to do this. You could find a common denominator and add those fractional exponents together first before dealing with the cubed. What I actually think is going to be easier for you is to distribute the cubed exponent first. 2/3 times 3 is equal to 6/3, which is 2. So this is really x squared. Then 1/4 times 3 is 3 over 4. So I'll have times x to the 3 over 4. Now here you will have to find a common denominator, but it's a lot easier to do that here than it was at the beginning. Our common denominator will be 4, so I'm going to multiply this 2 by 4 over 4. So you have x to the 8 over 4 times x to the 3 over 4, which simplifies to be 11 over 4 when you add those up. And that would be your final answer, x to the 11/4. Number 5, the first thing I would do here is simplify this. So you kind of have to know. In the last problem I said, I don't think it's best to simplify within the parentheses first. In this problem, I do think it is best to simplify. So you kind of have to look at the big picture before you start. Now the reason I'm going to simplify is because the denominator is x to the 1st. If I subtract x to the 5th and x to the 1st, I end up with 25x to the 4th over y to the 6th. Now, why that's better is because what I'm going to do is distribute that 1/2 to all of these terms. And it's easier to deal with 4 times 1/2 than it is to deal with 5 times 1/2 or 1 times 1/2. All right, so thinking ahead a little bit will help you know whether to simplify first or distribute first the exponent. All right, so I have 25 to the 1/2. X, the 4 times 1/2 is x squared, and the 6 times 1/2 is y cubed. So all we have to do is know that 25 to the 1/2 is the square root of 25, which just equals 5. All right, 5x squared over y cubed is your final answer. All right, and number 6. Same thing as the last problem. Think ahead. I'm going to simplify. I'm going to rewrite what's inside the parentheses first. I'm going to write that as x to the 6th over x to the 3/4 power. The root becomes the denominator of your exponent. Now, I'm not going to simplify anymore. I just rewrote it because now it's easier to multiply that denominator and multiply those exponents. So my numerator will be x to the negative 24, and then 3/4 times negative 4 is negative 12 over 4, which is negative 3. Because both those terms are negative, I'm going to flip the fraction, which is when I subtract, 3 minus 24 is negative 21, so it'll be 1 over x to the 21st. And that's your answer. All right, let's do number 7 here. That's still an exponent problem. All right, as long as x and y are not equal to 0, they want you to simplify this expression. Now, before you start, notice we have a division symbol here. So when we divide, what we are doing is we have to multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second. All right, so I multiply now by the reciprocal. So I need to simplify a whole lot of things here. First thing I need to simplify is this exponent. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite everything else the same. I'm not going to simplify anything yet. Times 9y to the 4th over 16x to the 6th y squared. Now, what I would do is start to cancel things, start to simplify a little bit. It's all multiplication, so I can start to cancel. I'm going to deal with the numbers first. I have 8 here and 16. Well, 8 and 16 themselves will cancel. That's 1 and a 2. Same with the 3 and the 9. I can put a 1 there and a 3 here. So I just made the numbers easier. Okay? And then I'm going to multiply straight across with my exponents. So I have 1 times 3, or I'll rewrite it this way. 1 times 3, x to the 2nd in the numerator, y to the 9th. Okay, I added y to the 5th and y to the 4th. Now my denominator will be 1 times 2, x to the 10th, y squared. I don't really need those 1 times. I'm just going to erase them, but I put it there so you can see that we didn't just ignore it. And let's simplify the rest of this. Now, 3 over 2 is not going to simplify, so I can probably see already this should be my answer. But let's check. I have 3 over 2. Now I subtract 2 minus 10, which is negative 8, and 9 minus 2 is y to the 7th. It's not fully simplified because I have a negative exponent, but that's all I needed for my multiple choice. All right, that's the video for number 1 through 7. There will be another video or two on 8 through 17, which is the rational expression.